Something, if you're going to use these templates, I recommend making it your own. Changing the colors, making it your color scheme for your business or brand, adding a logo, things like that. But it's all, stock, so you can use it. Or use it to get inspired, that kind of thing. So as far as this page goes, we do have a couple of pro tools right here. It's brand and content planner. The brand kit is pretty cool. Again, that's just for pro. Anything you see with a little crown is all pro. Probably everyone kind of knows that already, right? So, no. Okay, all right. So I'll go over it. So you can pick your color palette, and then this will stay with you in your Create a Design page. Same with the font, so you don't have to continuously search for the color, the exact shade of green. It's just right there. But there are ways around that as well. Then you've got your content planner, and again, this is where you can just see a calendar and make a post and add your created content directly to this content planner, and then on the 15th it will post to your social media. So you've linked your Canva and social media, which is quite useful.
Is that only available for the pro version, that content calendar?
It is. It is only available for the pro version. But there are other content planners that you can use that are free that can help you organize and post.
And it's like $13 a month, I think.
For Canva Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah, $12.99.
Yeah.
That's what's fine.
So, moving on to
So on that content planner, you can put words or reels or photos.
whatever you've created for your social media post. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And can it connect to Facebook and Instagram?
Yep.
Would you name some of those free content planners that you
Yeah.
recommend?
I would say maybe. I have to get back to you on that. Can I send you an email?
Sure.
Okay. Because right off the top of my head, I'm a little nervous and kind of going
Okay.
blank. Otherwise, I totally would have brought that list with me as well. So right now we have all of these options here when creating a design. This streamlines your ability to create the correct size of your design. If you want a flyer, it's going to be 8.5 and 11 inches. You've got a logo, it's going to be 500 pixels by 500 pixels. So you've got your Facebook posts, Facebook covers, all of that. So it's all sized correctly. So once we pick a size, we start on the design. So, for example, a Facebook post. So, when we open a Create a Design, we have a few options to begin with. Again, templates and styles, color styles. We have this other pro option, which is resize. So if we were like, ooh, we also want we created a full design and we want an Instagram post as well. We can just go here and be like, okay, we want this Instagram post, and it resizes the entire design for you, bringing along all the elements. Of course, that sounds nice and fun, but again, there's a free version of doing this, right? So you just say we get a design element that we really like on here, and we want to copy paste it to our new file. So very simple, just copy paste it. Going down the bar here, we have all of our tools. So this is an Elements tab, and here you can search anything you like. Recently I've been working on a sort of fake logo for you guys to kind of showcase how to build one. And so I've been searching coffee leaves and coffee beans, because it's a fake cafe. But a lot of cool things here. You can search purple fruit. And you got graphics, photos, and videos, and even frames of purple fruit. And we got some audio that has purple in it. So those are your keywords. So search anything you like, anything that pertains to your business, you know, if you're a business of wellness, you know, or medicine, you want to kind of use those keywords that describe, and you'll probably find graphics and things that correspond. Yeah.
Was there a trick you used? Is that maybe my accent's bad, but is that a
It's a semicolon.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
got it.
but-
And do you always use semicolons, or can it be a comma, or does it not matter?
I don't think it matters. I use a semicolon, but I just use a comma and it works the same. You can just purple fruit. You do get a little variations, but not too much. It kind of shows you know, purple fruit. Mhm.
Backing up, you said there's free, like, does Canva have a free version of being able to post to social media as well?
It
No,
doesn't.
it doesn't.
No.
But then when you said like sizing for Instagram or Facebook, they're different, aren't they?
They are. Yeah.
But when you link, like if you post on Instagram and then it will automatically link it to your Facebook page, I've already noticed that the photos are cut off and, you know, because the sizing is different. So if you were posting in your Canva Pro and you're making a post
Mhm.
for Instagram, let's say, and it automatically links to Facebook, is it just gonna be the sizing for one and not look so great on the other automatically? Does that make sense? My
So
question?
you're talking about the link between Facebook and Instagram, and like how sharing one photo on Instagram and then how it links and automatically uploads to your Facebook.
Automatically.
Yeah, so the way that Canva works is you're gonna size it separately, right? So you have a separate Facebook post and a separate Instagram post. And if you put it on your calendar, then it'll link, you know, it'll post separately to each one.
So you wouldn't connect with your Instagram to your Facebook at that point?
No, you can have it connected. It won't affect that connection. It'll just, you can still post, you know, even if your Facebook and Instagram are linked, you can still post to one or the other. You don't have to post to both. There's an option when you're about to post that you can
Yeah.
uncheck automatic posts. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it was just about the sizing, like if they have different size formats, you can only really choose.
They do have different size formats, but usually when it's like an image, it kind of crops and such to
Okay.
Facebook from Instagram.
Uh-huh.
I haven't noticed a huge issue when it comes to that, but.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Just to back up a little bit when we're starting on this project, so one of the things I was getting confused with is just to start to store the projects that I'm working on. So I saw that there's folders, there's projects, there's designs, and I wasn't sure, in the very beginning, you're gonna sit down and start something, do you save it as a project? Is that the first step? Or how do you do it? I mean, because you wanna keep all your stuff organized, right? You
Yeah.
gotta- Yeah.
Totally. So this is your projects folder. This is where all of the designs that you have made are gonna be in, as you can see here. You can add a new design, or a folder, sorry, and name it whatever you want. And then you can even share it with people so they can come and view whatever's in the folder. But yeah, so basically, now you've got your folders down here and your full designs. When you want to put something into the folder, you just go up here and oops. Save the folder. So you go there, and I want to save it to my test. You can also do that if you already have your designs. You can click it, and here is a little bar that pops up, and then there's move to folder or delete, so be careful because there's no undo on this page, like there is on the on your creation page. So let me just move that to folder. Sorry, the internet is hard.
It became
So,
famous and I deleted it.
No. Let's go to a logo design. Again, I just created a little logo for, like, these are just a bunch of individual elements for a Mr. Books Cafe. And, you know, when it comes to placing elements outside of the line, obviously you're gonna have that cut off. Sometimes that's okay. If you don't want to use the entire picture, you don't have to. Another thing, this is I'm creating it like as a circle. So when I download it, I kind of want to keep it just the elements, no background. But when I go to download, that's a transparent background that I like, and unfortunately that is a Canva Pro feature, which I really love. So that's, you know, that's one thing. But you don't have to, you know, make it a white background or, sorry, you don't have to make it transparent background. You can leave it white. Typically in situations, you'll find that it still looks okay, it still crops well, because you've got that correct size. So just a few variations. I've also put all of the elements into an image. So I'll show you guys how I do that. A lot of elements here. So I want to make sure that I highlight all of them, and they're not grouped. Everyone know about grouping elements?
No.
Okay. No? Okay, so typically you just highlight all the elements on the page, just like I did, just taking the cursor and going across the entire canvas. You can make, you know, if you're really uncertain about if you got all of them, just make sure it goes all the way across, okay? Then there's a little group option here, or you can also click on the More tab and group it here. If you really want to get fancy, you can Control G to group it.
Why do you want to group them?
That, just in case you want to move the elements around altogether.
Altogether. Oh.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. So, easy to undo everything with Control Z. You know that control. And then there's also, just since we're talking about controls, there's Shift R, which pulls out some rulers. So if I didn't like how this element was placed and I wasn't quite sure if I was getting it exactly the same as, you know, this element.
Wait, how do you,
Yeah, you ungrouped it?
you ungrouped it?
Yes.
Or how?
Just a few ways.
There was a
You can
button.
either click ungroup, or you can,
Control U,
so
Okay.
Control U.
I don't know, you can look down there and see what more,
Oh,
and then I think it gives you,
Yeah,
or Control
Control
Shift
Shift
G.
G.
Okay.
yeah. So it gives you all of the options in more, or you can just ungroup. And it also pops up here for next to position. So up here, you guys might have noticed there's a lot of options here. There's text options, fonts, size, color, you know. Some fonts don't allow you to create a bold or italic, so you have to be careful with what font you use, underline. And then this AA, this is to make all of your text capital.
How did you get it to be an arc?
For that, it comes to the effects. So this is the style tab, basically, and you can do shadow, lift. You got little options here that change. The offset is sort of how deep the shadow is away from your current letters. And then you've also got curve and shape here at the bottom. So curve and curve. And then you can control that curve by just dragging.
Can you control it by going like a smiley face instead of a rainbow? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
it
you want the
goes-
cafe?
It goes
Oh.
up as well.
the other direction.
Oh,
Yes.
the other direction.
Yes, yes. And I like to keep track of like the number, so say it's 73, and this is 76. Okay, so I know that I want this to be 76.
It's font size, correct?
This is
Curve.
curvature size.
Oh, curvature, okay, got it.
Sorry, my number lock was on.
Ah, cool.
So, let me just put that right there. And now we have the same curvature for each, block.
Is there a list of layers like you have in Photoshop? You
No.
can kind of order? No.
No, you can't see exactly where the layers are per se, but you can move them
Oh, yeah.
through position.
Okay.
So again, they have little shortcuts here if you're interested in that. Say I wanted the kitty cat behind the stack of books for some reason. It would go behind all the layers that are behind it, basically. That's if I hit to the back. If I hit backwards, then it kind of just sits behind the books. that make sense?
The leaf shape that you have to the right of the cat, how it's kind of like tilted.
Mhm.
Was it already tilted when you selected the image?
No.
How did you tilt it?
You tilt it, there's this little arrow section here.
Mine won't do that.
Yours won't do
I
that?
think it's a pro thing.
No, it's not a pro thing. If you're having trouble finding the little arrows stuff, because there's also sometimes arrows for like moving it,
Yeah.
I recommend copy and pasting it, the element, and seeing if you can't find it on the second one, or you can duplicate the element.
Do you think it matters if you're on a tablet or a computer?
Yes. Yeah, Canva is going to be different. So if you're working on a tablet, it's going to look a little different.
Okay.
But I like working on my tablet too. You know, like on a touch screen, it's kind of, you know, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like to use a stylus if I'm going to be on the touch screen. Where was I? Okay. So, well, speaking of moving around elements and getting them in the right angle, one of the things that you might want to watch out for is positioning. So, I like to use the guides. You can see these bright pink lines, and you can also see these little numbers that pop up. So those are going to pop up between the elements that are opposite each other and at equal distance. So you can kind of tell, like, all right, this is exactly, you know, this little 8 that means it's exactly the space between this other element here, right? To the element that's in the middle, which is this little coffee pot. And that's great if you're trying to be really symmetrical, or if you are really wanting like just exact spaces between certain things. Okay, and so say I wanted this to be an entire image, right? Right now it's not, and I don't want to download maybe one item, right? So I'm thinking I don't want to download this, I just want to download the kitty, the coffee, Mr. Books, and the books behind it, okay? So I click these items, these elements, and I hit download selection. Now you can see I have this downloadable, only it's not available for download, probably because
Question, do you hold control to be able to click on multiple items?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, it won't let me download this right now. But I feel like that has nothing to do with Canva and everything to do with the Wi-Fi at the moment. But I'm not entirely sure.
There.
Okay. Maybe one of these items is Canva Pro.
So are you doing all of this in Canva regular, the free version, or is this Canva Pro that you're showing?
I'm
us?
using the free version right now.
Okay.
Or like the free version.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And why are you downloading them? I'm not understanding what you're doing here. What's,
Oh, well, I was gonna turn it into an image. I did it for this one already.
and it's not an image already?
No,
Like-
it's not.
Okay.
Nope, it's their individual elements, not connected together. So, for example, this is the image, right? So this I just put to the background, and I can detach image from the background. It's actually found in my, would be found in my uploads. In any case. I'm having a little bit technical difficulty. But moving on, you can eventually select these individual elements and create an image with them. And then from that image, you can put on what is called a frame. This is what it looks like. There's all types of frames available, and this is just to create a little more dimension with your photos, right? Your actual images. And if you had a logo, create it into an image, you can put it in a frame. You know, can be pretty dynamic. Add just a little extra to your artwork, right?
So once you put it in that frame, then the clouds and the grass, it goes away?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just to show that it's for a picture. So this one, for example, is a this is a Canva picture, right? So it's Canva Pro. I won't be able to download it without the Canva Pro, but I can put it in this, and it can still be like a cool, extra dynamic, almost like a flow of coffee, and that might be what I'm looking for when it comes to designing, you know, a logo or a post. Yes.
Can you can upload any of your own artwork into Canva Pro also to
Yes.
use that? Okay.
Yeah, into just Canva free version as well. Uploading files is really easy. You can even record yourself. This takes you to the design studio, and it puts a little picture of yourself at the bottom corner.
You can do like
if you
a
want to do
voiceover?
presentations. You can do voiceover, get audio as well. Yeah.
And then can one add that into, like, that could go into a social media post, or could that go into a PowerPoint? Could that go into a PowerPoint?
It can go into a PowerPoint. Yeah.
So then would somebody download that, create the image with the audio on it, and then you could download that, and then you could add that to your own presentations. Like at our office, we use Google Docs a lot, and so if we were doing a Google whatever a PowerPoint presentation or something in Google Docs, can we then upload?
It's getting a little complicated
Okay.
there. So the file would be an MP3 file when
Oh,
you
okay.
download it
Got
with
it.
the audio,
Okay.
right? So you could definitely do that for a Facebook post or an Instagram post.
Okay.
But you were talking about Google, and I'm not sure they're gonna slide together.
Okay, got
There'd
it.
be a separate like MP3 player open.
Got it. But
right?
the file would be a audio with an image that you could download, that you could upload to your social media.
Yeah.
Cool.
Although I feel like a better option when you're doing that is to just record yourself on your social media, like on using your Instagram, you know, using your phone or camera, whatever you
Yeah.
prefer. You know, just do it that way,
Mhm.
because I don't feel like this is a very reliable and easy way. It's very basic. It's very more for presentation.
Mhm.
Like you're saying, like I could record myself doing this entire thing, would have been way better. And like then I could have just played it for you guys, and it would have been great.
So I started using Canva for, instead of using PowerPoint,
Mhm.
they have a very robust presentation, and you can animate it, and you could do something like what she was just showing about picture in a picture and video, and record yourself, and then plot that in your presentation, and it's impressive. You know, it keeps it interactive and all that. But you're not gonna you're gonna play it, when you do the presentation, you're gonna play it from your Canva account. You're not gonna download it. It's just
that helps.
in there.
Got it, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You couldn't
Yeah,
post it
you-
to YouTube or anything?
You could download it. You can still download it.
I guess you could download
yeah.
it, but
And
it's
it
not gonna be
plays.
as dynamic, I don't think. Like, you could download it as a PowerPoint presentation, and PowerPoint's not gonna be as friendly to it.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're playing it on. It
Yeah.
becomes like a. Hold on, I actually had a little presentation that I wasn't sure I was going to use or not. But let me just double check, because I pretty sure. Yeah, if you hit present and record, then you save it. And you have this download option here. And you can't re-download it to YouTube. You know, you'd have to put it into a video editing software, make it that format, and then it can go into YouTube. Does that make sense? So there's an extra step. So, speaking of, this is the little presentation that I had for design for you guys. And so I'll go ahead and get started. It's, you know, logo making, most of design is pretty subjective, right? So you have an audience, and the audience feels what they'd like to feel about the artwork that you've created. And everyone is different, you know, it affects people differently. But there are some subjective parts of design. For one, color theory. Color theory is pretty objective. We have certain colors that make us feel certain ways. So a lot of the logos you'll see have a pretty set, of colors that they use more often than not. Yeah, go ahead. What do you guys see? Like, what color do you see most?
Yeah, kind of royal and navy blue. And red and then yellow.
Food products seem to be more red than not.
Yeah. The reason for that is pretty straightforward. Food products are typically going to be red or yellow because it makes us hungry. It has that, it just sparks our brain. Also, it sort of is an alarming color, right? So you could also think of like stop signs being like, stop and look at this, like stop and pay attention. Blue, on the other hand, is going to be more of a trusting color. So it's a color that instills your trust. So a lot of companies will use this, like we're trustworthy, we're blue, you know, it's a very nice color to use if you want to instill that. So what we don't really see here though are greens, pinks, purples, or oranges, because they're pretty set colors in what they represent. So orange is very loud and people might be like, oh, it's a little too loud, it's not quite yellow, it's not quite red, but it's a loud color. Purple and pink are typically associated with more feminine like products and you know, traits, right? Where it's going to be soft, delicate, sweet, kind. You know, breast cancer awareness was pink. You know, so we can kind of have these already preconceived notions about what that color means to us when we look at a brand, right? We see McDonald's, we think food, we're hungry. We see, you know, a blue like sign for Morgan Stanley, and we're like, maybe we can trust Morgan Stanley. So it's very subliminal.
Also, I just realized that all those colors on the examples you gave are the primary colors.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what does green say?
Green says green, like clean, energy efficient. Yeah.
It never says money though, but it's always tied to money, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how it doesn't act, it says natural, you know? That might be why they did money in green. It's because they wanted you to feel like this is a natural thing that we all use, natural resource.
That's only the case in the United States though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about black?
Well, black is another color that's pretty dark. It's either can be like very neutral if it's just like black and white. But yeah, be careful making something completely black because it's definitely a background color. It makes your eye, so like white kind of catches your eye and makes you feel like it's very flat and forward, whereas black kind of makes your eye fall into it a little bit, and so it can be, if you have a large, like, you know, it's like a black hole, right? So typically you want your accent color to be something maybe brighter, or if you're really going for that monotone, maybe choose gray and not black, and don't go full black. But it's good for, you know, basic things like your fonts and such. So when it comes to designing a logo, you definitely want to ask yourself a few questions, a few more than these as well. But I don't know if anyone here, anyone have a logo, their business already set up and going? Yeah? Awesome. Yeah, let's trade cards for sure. when it comes down to it, you probably asked yourself, you know, and knew these questions before you designed your logo. Like, what am I selling? Who am I selling it to? And why am I selling it? And having the answer to those questions really affects your design. If you're not quite sure why you specifically are selling it, that means people aren't going to be really sure why they specifically should be buying it from you. And brand, having that logo, which is representative of your brand, not entirely your brand identity, because brand identity is logo, your story, yourself, your social media, it's all these things encompassed. So definitely having a good idea of what that brand is and if that logo represents your brand correctly. Because again, that's that objective part of design, where it's like, this logo is going to be that snapshot. I'm gonna see this and be like, oh, yep, I want it, or like, oh, I'm not really attracted to finding out more about that. And so I came up with a little cafe bookstore owner idea, and like, I want to sell people coffee and books. It can be really, really simple. And so this person being like, I need my cat Books, Mr. Books when he's in trouble. I want to create a Mr. Books cuddle cafe. And so you might brainstorm some ideas, what cafe means, what people associate with, you know, cats, books, that kind of thing. Really cutesy. And this might be your first idea, which is just a block with the name and the idea, the essence behind it, which is kitty, cats, books, and coffee. You can use your logo in a dynamic set of ways, but I highly recommend branching out and using more than just your logo as the center focus. A lot of people get confused because all the big brands are doing like logo-centric focus merch, right? Which is like Nike and Adidas, and like, oh, their, you know, clothes, that's all it says, right? And while that's attractive to some people because they're wearing the brand, they know it, they're familiar with it, it's everything, you know, that they stand for, they're athletic, that kind of thing. But your brand is gonna be maybe more local, right? We're talking like, you know, you're looking at the audience that's going to be wearing your merch as they walk in the door, or as they shop online, or, you know, in the coffee shops around town, you know, who you're competing with, right? In this scenario. So you really wanna keep that in mind. Like, what do I like to wear, you know? So if it's a coffee shop, bookstore that you're trying to create merch for, and you're like, I just wanna sell some hats, go ahead and don't just use your logo. Put your logo on there somewhere. It has to say your name, but make it small, make it, you know, delicate, and, you know, just as a reminder instead of like the center focal point. Because I feel like sometimes people are less inclined to buy that and wear it often, whereas you're really creating that item that you want people to wear and you want to see people wearing. And promote it. Promote those new additions to your store or your brand by asking your community on your social media, hey, I'm thinking about, you know, putting hats, just talk to people like they are your neighbors. Like, I'm thinking about putting hats in the store, you know, these are a few designs that I've created myself or that I've sourced or whatever, and put it out for a poll. Like, make, you know, content is key. And so just keep talking to people and keep engaging, because that's really difficult to be a small brand, be doing your own social media, and, you know, being like, I'm not getting enough followers, like, people aren't, you know, engaging or like sharing this enough. I really need this sale to like go off. It's because you need to sit there and engage. You need to put it out and, you know, send it to 5 friends and be like, hey, 5 friends, like, send this out, get 10% off, and it's like a thing where everyone who responds with a comment gets something, you know, gets some recognition, gets a heart, gets a whatever when they come through the door, right? Okay, so we're thinking this is maybe not the most eye-catching, right? we're looking at it and we're like, okay, it's the last chance to get Mr. With a lot of reading. It's all, you know, just as is. It has the logo on there, but we weren't really in love with that logo, but we're putting it out there anyways, because we're like, okay, we don't have time, we just have to get this bookstore up, right? But there's a lot of ways here that you can make this more dynamic post, and bring people in instead of just, I mean, this is good, like you're telling them, like, this last latte of the season, you know, pair it with Catherine Hallberg's new series and stay a while. Like, it's sweet. The words are not the problem. It's like how it's laid out, right? It's just bland, I would scroll past. So, say it's a Facebook post, right? And we would definitely want to use our fresh new logo. We'll just do this one. So we're like, Mr. Books Cafe, it's gonna be nice and centric. We're gonna get our text. We wanna make it the focal point, the text, because we want it to be really, really pop. We're gonna use our logo's colors right here. And leave the background slightly off-white.
Was that intentional?
Hmm?
To make that background off-white?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you don't want it to be flat white?
I personally like to have the color off-white because your background is kind of always, you always have that option on Instagram, right? Where your stories, you can change the background color and you really get like into the colors and stuff. White is just plain. White is boring, you know? It depends on what style you're going for though. You know, if you want it to be modern and sleek, but I want it to feel cozy, you know? And so I think that's why I tend to lean towards more, like, I also use dark mode in my computer a lot. And so typically white backgrounds don't even show up anyways. And I know a lot of people who use that. Anyone here use dark mode regularly? So white is very glaring on the eye. I like to make something, especially when it's like a cafe and I'm trying to get people to feel cozy, trying to take that into consideration. So I'm just gonna kind of go through pretty quickly since we are running out of time and I want to answer any questions that people have, yeah.
I was just gonna say, I'd be very interested before the class ends to show like one of the ways where I've been able to design like a pro or whatever the title of this class is to start with a template, like start with their Instagram posts and then I just modify it as needed instead of creating from there. Maybe just take a minute to show that if you have a moment.
Sure. Yeah. Basically I was just gonna show like just varying text is a much more dynamic read that also allows people to zone in on the exact wording that you want. So you want like 15% discount to stand out. It should be bigger than all the others, even if that means you have to do separate text blocks. It just doesn't go all in the same line, you know? Don't be afraid to like turn it sideways, you know, make it curvy, whatever you want. Just make sure that when you're placing those things, that the reading is still flowing one side to the other. So yeah, we can go down and just create from a template. So again, there's gonna be lots and lots of options. So we should say, yeah, book cafe. And right off the bat, we're gonna see a lot of pro, but we've got book sale. That's kind of cute. Let's try this one. Oh, pro. So we'll go with this one. So it was for February romance titles. That's not a bad deal. But maybe we didn't have that, and we don't like the pink. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna go to elements, look up books, because we did like that. We just want it to be a different, you know, a different look. Let's see. Okay, so we've got our 40% off, and we've got, maybe it's books about plants, so get your garden on. And it's March, and we didn't like the pink, so we go here and we're changing colors. Not all elements will allow you to change colors, but some will, and we also wanted our logo on here, right? So make sure that, there we go, that we put our logo on here instead.
Where are you like getting that saved from, or I just saw
That was
you
a
go to
template.
like a different
The
tab?
logo?
Yeah, did you have it like already open in a different tab, or like
Yeah, I have it open in another tab.
what if you don't have it open in another tab? Is it saved somewhere on your
Only if you saved it as an image, it would be
Okay.
in uploads,
okay.
right? So I've got my images saved here.
Okay.
Or you can go in your projects, and you can find your other projects. If you had Canva Pro, it would be in your brand, so it would be in, it would show up in your, I'm not exactly sure if it's the Elements tab, but I think it shows up when you select your color. Yeah, so when you select your color, a brand color would show up here.
Okay.
Kind of like how it shows up on your photo colors. So these are typically what I'm using as my brand colors, is that this is my logo, these are my brand colors. And then yeah, you can just click the element and you can see at the top where all of the color options are, and you know, redesign it to your, you know, specifications. I'm thinking like neutral earthy tones. So I want that book to look kind of like that, and yeah, pretty simple. You know, you've made it your own. You've even got space for your logo. I'm gonna kind of smush it in there a little bit more so that it's more centric. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I'll let you, you're done with this.
Um,
And what are your options for saving it? Can it be a JPEG? The full range of options to
Yes.
save that?
Yeah, so if I wanted to save this, I would go to the share button, and there's a few ways, like you download it and you have file type options here.
Okay.
The suggested is the PNG because it is a complex image, and so it's just it's a stronger image. You can use JPEG.
Mm-hmm.
You can also use PDF. And then you've also got a different option for animations. So, you know, if any of these were animated elements, you would go with the SVG.
Okay.
If you had any audio on here, say, we have a ukulele song. Sorry, very loud. But yeah, so you can crop this as well. You can take just parts of it. And we can animate it. We could have a book rolling through and the ukulele song playing at the same time. how it would download.
And then you would just upload it into your social media.
And unfortunately, that feature is also Pro, which I did not, just found that out today. So that's another reason why, like, if you aren't using Pro, typically would do the type of animations, videos, all that on your social media already.
So at just like a very high level, the various things that Canva can produce. We talked about like logos and like posters, social media content, PowerPoint. What are some of the high level, just top things that you use, or any of us who have businesses that we could use Canva for? Or did I miss anything? Like Pam, can you make pamphlets? Can you make business cards? I mean, like, is it like sky's the limit, or what are some of the top things that Canva can produce?
Yeah, so like I said at the beginning, the creative design, it has a whole bunch of documents, a whole bunch of size templates. Business cards is one of those. So you can definitely make your own business cards. Canva has a print option too, so you don't even have to go to another site in order to print these business cards. They will print them and send them to you, and they're cheap. They're typical, business card paper. They don't really have a lot of fancy, matte and, like Moo does. I don't know if anyone has ordered off of Moo or Vistaprint. Like that's their thing. And so Canva is obviously going to have a very small, like, premium paper kind of thing. But still, it's cheap. It's easy to use. But if you just wanted to make a business card in here, there's definitely that option.
Will you scroll down further so you can see what else is on that list?
Absolutely. So we've got circle stickers, cards, you've got infographics, you have your Instagram story specifically if you want to post to that. You could create a t-shirt, and that actually works. So if you do create a t-shirt on Canva and then take that image and go to Printful or whatever, your dropshipping company that you choose to use that makes t-shirts, or even a local screen printer, this is a good size. This will work. Just make sure you've got a nice PGN file. Cool.
Brochure, that's awesome. That's cool.
Brochures there, it's trifold.
T-shirt?
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
Mhm. You can even use a whiteboard. So if you're using Canva as a team, and you have like a team of people that you want to create with or brainstorm with, again, this is good for presentations too. You can create a whiteboard, and the whiteboard is simply an unlimited canvas. So you can scroll and keep scrolling, and it's huge. So if you are working on a business and you wanted to create some launch ideas, you've got a whole little option here.
So why would anyone want to learn Illustrator with knowing, it seems like this has the power of Illustrator, or is it just not quite as professional? Is it more like there's just more of a basic level for everyone?
I think Canva's great as far as usability. I think Illustrator, you're gonna dedicate some time to learning that software. That software, I feel like, is a bit more advanced.
Yeah.
It has more options, more capabilities, photo editing ability, video editing ability. Here you do have, video editing. You can do videos. It's just not to the point where
So it's just more accessible. It's kind of the same
These are
thing.
like the online versions for people who don't have like the Adobe
Yeah.
Suite or
Right. So this is
Photoshop
just a
and
more
things.
accessible.
this is
Like
definitely
gets you to
accessible.
80% maybe, but not quite if you're looking to,
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that a lot of small businesses, if this is, for your small business, you can use this quite successfully. Like 100%, you don't need this extra illustration because it is extra. It is like, I need professional grade videos and, Photoshop and, everything going on. Whereas most people just need, for your business, you just need that engagement. You really just need a quick post that doesn't bore people immediately, because that's that 3-second, like when you're scrolling on Instagram, they've timed it, clocked it and everything. There's about 3 seconds you have to grab someone's attention. And so I would highly recommend, if you're just getting started and you're just doing Instagram, you want all 9 photo posts, and you want it as pretty as possible, and that all of the 9 pictures is going to include your brand, your brand identity, right? So it's gonna say things about you.
I don't know what you're talking about. 9 photo posts?
Yeah, your Instagram,
Like when you look at someone's grid.
yeah, they're great, exactly.
Oh, 9 of them
Like
show.
the first
Yeah.
9.
Like if you're
The
doing,
first
you just
9.
have one.
Yes.
Okay.
So your first 9, recommend if you're just starting, like have those 9 filled out, yeah.
Okay.
And then to get engagement, switch to videos, stories. You want a story every day. You want to start reels as quickly as possible and just get a bunch of B-roll. So get a bunch of B-roll from your business. Practice your speech, your brand story, and like get that out there, and just record yourself doing that and put that on your video. Should be pretty simple. If you're looking to use Canva, that's great. Get your video on your phone, upload it to Canva, add your voice recording to it, download it all again, put it on Instagram. You know what I mean? That makes sense?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is actually for everyone here. Who would like us to bring back Arya to do another presentation? Yes? That would be
I feel
wonderful.
like it covered nothing in this.
No,
Oh,
it's
so much.
So let's give it up. Thank you so much. I'm not sure everyone is clear on how to get a hold of you.
Okay, well.
Look
I
at
have my
business
Ah,
cards.
nice. Awesome.
I designed it myself.
On Canva.
So while
On Canva.
they're being handed out, I want to just, because I can, throw out a couple things. I'm using Canva. If you suck at design, this makes you not suck at design.
Yeah.
If you take a template and don't mess with it too much, like just try to like put your, change the business name or whatever. If you start tweaking it so much, then it's not a professional design. So, and also like if I make a flyer, like I do series and lunch and learns, they're all basically look the same. So when people are looking at the flyer or looking online, they're like, oh, that orange, that's Sierra Commons. It's like a consistent thing. And one other feature that's really helpful is you can share it and have basically teams work on the design. So that's super helpful. Before everyone leaves, I want to just thank you again. This has been a pretty cool class. The next one is going to be on LinkedIn, and I'm going to teach it. And it's a kind of a different angle, which is not like, oh, it's just an online resume, but I'm going to show you how to get go to the top. Like if you're working on a project, reach out to the CEO. Don't reach out to how you make really solid connections and how LinkedIn is helpful for that.
I'd love to know how many people are in LinkedIn up here, because I know in the Bay Area it's really big, and being in the chamber, we haven't really used it much up here because it seems like we haven't connected, and I just love a poll, who uses LinkedIn here?
Okay, I would imagine who has a LinkedIn account but doesn't use it.
All right.
There we go. That's more like it. So I want to try to flip that.
All right.
We did not cancel today, obviously, but we postponed the Business Igniter course. It was supposed to start tonight. It's starting in 2 weeks. So, Igniter, 3, 4 Igniter? 4? Good?
Yeah.
Would you suggest taking it?
Would suggest.
Okay, and tell your friends too, that would be awesome. And if anyone has never been here before and wants a tour, I'll show you around our facility. And thanks for coming.
Thank you.
He's 9. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Good to see you.
That was great, thank you.
Yeah. Allison.
I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, I mean, your face.
TR.
I moved back in July.
God, I hate those.
It's like, I watch it,
So I
I
used to work
like,
with Diana Burton.
Get out of here.
Really?
Yeah.
And I know,
It totally
I know
different.
that
Block by block when you use their
the
services.
identity.
I know. It's just-
What kind?
Are you well?
It was-
Yeah?
So
Life is good?
in the business
You're just focused on your Ayurvedic stuff now, you're not doing massage and that.
She was like,
There's a lot of advertising.
and then because I
Did you see what I've been doing? The trauma circle.
It's so great to like.
You get a couple of cards to give to,
to learn about these things. I had never even heard of Canva before, so it's great.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, you got it. You recorded